guys, today we're going to cover your dog's gums.
And how important are your dog's gums when it comes to their health?
Super important. So you need to stick around and watch this video and we'll tell you everything. Hi, I'm Jo.
And I'm Claire, and this is Jethro, aka Lazarus.
Yep.
And we're a holistic hound.
And we're here because we want to share with you lots of information about holistic pet care and empower you to take decisions and take action to really make you a better pet parent.
Yeah, we want to take out the confusion and the mystery that surrounds your pet care. Put you back in the driving seat. This is what it's all about.
And so one of the big things that you might not know, 80% of dogs by the age of 3 are already exhibiting some signs of gum disease. That's a crazy figure.
That's nuts. Yeah.
Yep. So, and gums are actually a really good window to your an indicator of your dog's overall health. So it's really kind of key to get to grips with them, poke around, find out what's kind of good. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, what we're going to cover off today basically is what is normal, what's not, what to be worried about, or when to be worried, I should say, and what you're going to do.
Totally. And stick around till the end of the video because we're going to give you our 5 top tips on how to keep your dog's gums and their breath and their teeth super healthy and keep your dog well and happy. So, let's dive right in.
Okay. So, go on, Jo. What is normal?
Well, this is kind of key. If you don't actually know what is normal for your dog, how will you ever know when there's something actually wrong? So one of the most important things that you need to do when you first have your dog or when you have a puppy is really try and get them used to you actually looking and checking their gums. Get them used to you poking around their mouth, putting your fingers in their mouth. You know, like it's kind of handy, not just from checking their teeth kind of point of view, but also just like if you ever need to retrieve anything that they've eaten, like a sock or a piece of cotton wool or something like that, you want to be able to get in there without losing your fingers. But what you need to be able to do is really kind of just lift up their top upper lip and have a look, and we'll have a see and see. Look, there we go. Jethro's demonstrating nicely for us. And just check the colour. Now, normal gums generally tend to be like a bubble gum kind of pink, maybe like a salmon kind of colour. You know, you don't want them too light, and we'll get on to what's not necessarily normal in a minute, but they should be that colour. All gums should really be kind of moist, wet, slick. They shouldn't be sticky, they shouldn't be dry, and they should not smell either. Any of those kind of 3 things should be kind of really key for you to just make you start thinking, is everything really okay with my dog's dental hygiene? The other thing that you want to check, and we'll do this again now with Jethro, is when you pull that upper lip back, is actually just to press lightly on his gum and then release. And what you're actually looking for is the blood to it'll go kind of pale, and then what you want is the blood to come back within about 2 seconds. That's called the capillary refill time. And we'll get on again to that in a little bit more detail, but basically, if it takes about 2 seconds, that's spot on, that's what you're looking for. If it takes less than 2 seconds, this could actually be an indication of heat stroke or fever. You know, they could be going into kind of an associated shock with these, so it's something to be worried about. But also, worryingly, if it takes longer than 2 seconds to refill, that isn't great either. You know, that's basically indicating that there's some kind of a problem with their circulation. It could be shock. Dehydration is one of those causes. Any kind of heart and circulation issues really can slow that refill time down. So it's just a good kind of first indicator that maybe everything isn't as it kind of seems. So like we just said, you're looking really for a pink colour. But obviously sometimes dogs actually have black gums. Like my German Shepherd, he tends to have his, you know, a lot of his gums are black. They can sometimes have mottled gums. I think actually
like Jethro
Jethro's.
does,
Yeah, Jethro's is mottled.
If I can find them.
So it's kind of, the sooner you know what is right for your dog from when they were born, the better, because then you'll be able to observe any changes that could indicate that there's an issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, go on then. That's normal. What's not normal?
Yeah, so there's some really key things to look out for. And they can be, it's a very, very quick and easy way of checking in what can be time critical situations where you really need to get your dog to the vet and get them seen to and you know, get them kind of fixed up. So I have a little graphic and we're going to run through that right now. So we're going to start with pale gums. So if you have a dog that has particularly pale gums, paler than usual, so we're not talking about just a dog that generally has pale gums. This is something out of the unusual, it's pale. Generally indicates that there's a lack of blood around the body and getting to those gums. It's typically seen in anemia or if there's any kind of internal bleeding, but also can be indicative of renal failure and a heart issue. The more worrying kind of a thing is if it's indicative of rat poison or heavy metal poison. Like this is kind of, really traumatic situation where you have to get treatment as soon as possible. Other indicators, really, because it is a lack of blood, shock, that can happen, but also a heavy worm burden or heavy internal parasite burden. It's taking away that kind of that blood. Autoimmune and cancer sufferers, you might also find that they start to have pale gums as well. So again, it's something to kind of just raise your eyebrows at. If you suspect it's poisoning, it's an emergency trip to the vet. The sooner you get treated with that, the better. Now, the other one that's really kind of critical is if your dog's gums are blue. We've all seen it in humans, hypothermic, they get kind of blue lips. It's exactly the same with dogs. Their gums can go blue if they're hypothermic. It can be an indicative of pneumonia. More worryingly, it can also be an indicator of congestive heart failure. The blue colour is because of cyanosis. It's a lack of oxygen within the blood, and that's a real big issue. Also, any respiratory problems really can be reflected in those gums. Now, bright red gums, quite often this is kind of generally in most cases is a sign that they're overheating and they have heat stroke. There'll be a lot of panting with it, they're desperately trying to drink water just to really kind of cool down. However, it's not always just overheating. It can actually be a question that they've been exposed to toxins. So something like carbon monoxide. Really that's a big indicator why the bright red, the cherry red kind of gums. And this is the cherry red all over. This isn't just cherry red around the teeth, because that's actually a sign of inflammation, and we're going to cover that a little bit later when we talk about gingivitis. Again, another issue, but it's not kind of a super critical get to the vet kind of issue. Bright red can also be an indicator of high blood pressure and increased blood pressure. So again, one to kind of be aware of, keep an eye out, and could be time for a vet visit with these. Yellow gums, serious issues, serious. This basically is an indicator of severe blood loss, severe anemia, and liver problems. So this is really, if your dog has yellow gums, chances are they'll also have jaundice in the eye area. It's an emergency trip to the vet. They need to be seen straight away. So the other thing to look out for is growths.
So it's not just their gums.
No, not just their gum colour. Quite often you'll find dogs develop growth on their gums. Now, 60% of growths tend to be benign. They tend to be tumours that are actually benign. They can still grow incredibly aggressively and incredibly quickly. You'd be very surprised at how much this kind of happens. Or they can be cancerous, It's really important that you get these tested properly. A vet can't guess. They can't say, sure, that looks like a carcinoma, or, that looks fine, just leave it, it'll go away of its own accord. You just can't take the guesswork with that. You have to get pathology, get that tumour looked at and find out exactly what you're dealing with, because actually if it is benign and it can be operated and removed, dogs actually do quite well with kind of partial jaw missing and things like that. You'd be very surprised, but you need to know what you're dealing with. The other thing you might find, and again quite common on dogs, is they get almost like wart kind of growth, warty type growth, and this actually can be from the papillomavirus. So it is virus, it is contagious, so you do need to be careful that you're kind of not spreading it dog to dog. But again, it's treatable, so it's another one to kind of be aware of. With older dogs, like my dog. Not with our Jethro. You might spot that they start getting dark spots on their gums. And what that can be is kind of a melanoma kind of thing. Now, it can be a squamous cell carcinoma, which is kind of a type of cancer. So again, monitoring any change in shape, size, texture, as if we do with a kind of the moles and things that we have on our body. So again, always worth getting that checked out if there has been a change in your dog's dark spots. They can also get them on their tongues. I know one of my dog had dark spots on his tongues. Now, so coming back to you now as well, the other thing that I think almost every dog owner at some point
Yeah.
has kind of dealt with is dogs with bad breath. So what's the cause of bad breath? You know, like, does he smell okay? He has a green face, by the way, because he's been
Eating
eating his
spirulina.
spirulina. He's not always, he doesn't always look like this. But bad breath, you know, it's annoying, it's frustrating. We don't necessarily want the kisses, but actually it can be a sign that there's something needs addressing and something needs kind of going on. Now, it could just be that there is a temporary gut disturbance going on, but it could be indicative of a longer term gut disturbance as well. You know, so maybe you need to address the flora in their gut, prebiotics, probiotics, looking at diet, these kinds of things. It could be an indication that they simply have something stuck in their teeth. So again, being able to open the jaw, look in the mouth, have a good root around, that's kind of key. You know, find that. It could be a reflection of just bad dental hygiene. You know, particularly a lot of rescues, particularly greyhounds, dogs like that, they haven't had the right dental hygiene over the course of their life. And actually this is a problem, and that needs to kind of be rectified and looked at. But if you have a dog that has bad breath and you get a very strong ammonia smell from it, so kind of like a wee smell, that could be an indicator of kidney disease, early indicator of kidney disease. So that really kind of needs to be looked at and checked out. Similarly, if they have a very sweet and almost fruity smell to their breath, it can be an indicator of diabetes. So again, really needs to get that checked out by the vet. Okay, and again then the big one, and I think Jethro actually has little kind of early signs of it. You can kind of see on his teeth. I don't know whether you can actually see on the video. Let's see if he'll let us have a look. No, he's going to be grumpy. He isn't actually in the best of moods today.
No, he's not.
He's feeling a bit down. Gingivitis. Like, we hear about this in humans. You know, we all see the teeth adverts. When you're brushing your teeth, is there blood in the bowl when you spit? All this kind of thing. So gingivitis basically is, it can, you know, it's this inflamed gum that's actually happened. The plaque and the tartar have been allowed to build up. The plaque and the tartar have then attracted, kind of created this warm environment for bacteria to grow and thrive. That bacteria has in turn triggered an immune system response, and that immune system response then creates the inflammation, it creates the bleeding, and so on and so forth, and it gets worse obviously until it's really kind of addressed. But this trigger on the immune system, it's not just that the dog is in pain because they have sore inflamed gums. This trigger in itself can actually kind of lead on to other issues with the heart and with the kidney. These links have kind of been proven that if you have very bad gingivitis and very bad dental health, then actually it affects the rest of the body as well.
Wow.
So keeping your dog's clean teeth and gums clean and healthy and not inflamed is really key as well to their overall health and well-being. Hence why we're talking about it today and why it's so important. So lots of information there, lots of things to kind of be aware of and work on. But I suppose our five top tips. Ta-ding! Dental hygiene routine. Can't stress that enough. From a very early age, as soon as possible, get into a dental hygiene routine, making sure that you're checking their gums and their teeth regularly, making sure that they are getting cleaned and being kept clean. Now, top tip number 2, one of the best ways of actually making sure that you're creating the best oral environment for your dog.
The diet.
Feed them the right food.
Yeah.
Feed them biologically appropriate food as much as you can. Get their own digestive enzymes working as they should, you know, create the right kind of saliva and everything that they need to create a really healthy environment in their mouth. And then I suppose following on from that, you know, kind of teeth cleaning. Some people like to use toothbrushes and toothpaste, special doggy toothpaste.
Yeah,
I'm not the biggest fan of that, but actually it's better to do that than not.
Yeah.
Some people will use chews, and I know that there's a wide variety of natural chews out there that can really kind of help scrape the dog's teeth. There is a bit of a myth here that dry kibble is kind of strong enough to actually scrape the plaque and the tartar off, and actually that's why some people feed dry, because they think that's what's doing. But if you think about it, you know, your dry kibble food is 60-70% carbohydrate. So that's almost like saying to your children, here, eat this lollipop, it will get rid of the plaque in your mouth. Not going to happen. So you need something fairly strong, fairly robust and abrasive. My preference, I use raw meaty bones. I have two types of bones that I give my dogs. I have ET bones, which are kind of chicken wings, chicken thighs that they can chomp on. They get all the goodness that's actually a part and parcel of that bone. And then I have teethy bones, which are kind of the more robust bones that they really need to chew on and abrade their teeth and get rid of that plaque and gum. And I use those with rescue dogs who have been, had really super bad teeth and have got to the state where they don't actually they don't need their vet cleaned by their teeth cleaned by a vet. They certainly don't need their vet cleaned by their teeth. Although I don't know. I know a few vets that actually could. But that's another one, is making sure that they have some ability to actually keep their teeth clean.
Yeah. What about supplements?
Yeah. Totally. There's quite a few supplements out on the market nowadays as well. Now again, do your homework on these. Don't be pulled in by the marketing. Don't be fooled by all of that. But things like chlorophyll and seaweed, really well known for kind of softening the plaque and the tartar, making it easy for you to actually kind of remove. So it's kind of well worth looking at that. Again, be careful. There's high iodine concentrations in these kind of supplements sometimes. So just make sure that it's appropriate for your dog to have this. Do your homework on the products that you're looking at. Manuka honey is a fantastic one.
Great for everything.
Yeah, antibacterial as well. So any kind of bacteria present reduces inflammation. All of that, well worth kind of looking at using that. And also grapefruit seed and grapeseed extract can be very useful in dental hygiene as well. Now, if all else fails and you have a dog with a severe dental issue and it needs looking at,
go to your vet.
Yeah, the vets are there. They can clean your dog's teeth. They give them a whole once over. It's not the greatest thing because obviously it's putting your dog under stress and putting pressure on them. But
needs must.
If needs must, that's the way to do it. Anyway, so I hope you've enjoyed this video.
Yeah. Put a comment on the box.
Yeah.
Tick it. Say hi.
Maybe subscribe.
Yeah.
And if you did like this video and you want to check out some others,
we've got loads of others.
Follow the link.
Yeah.
Thanks a million, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.